Today I'm answering all of your questions, so stick around. My name is Nick Pulaski. Growing up, I have always had a passion for wildlife, and with that passion, along with my passion of filmmaking, I get taken on some amazing adventures creating wildlife content, getting up close with a variety of incredible animals. So come follow along as I pursue my goals of educating, inspiring, exploring, and conserving wildlife, all while having fun, seeing the beauty in our natural world. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me here today. I am so excited to do this video with you guys today. This is probably one of the most interactive videos that I have done with you guys thus far in the channel, and I am just super excited to try these kind of videos out, and hopefully this goes well. If you guys like this, definitely leave more questions down below. We'll definitely try this again in the future. Like I said, I like to interact with you guys and answer your guys' questions that you may have or anything like that, and be helpful in any way that I can as well too. And honestly, I was super shocked that people were actually asking me questions and stuff like that. I didn't think I would be getting as many questions as I actually did, so really excited to be doing a good amount of questions for this Q&A video at the end of the month, like I was saying since last month. What I basically did was just ask people to ask me anonymously questions that I will just answer on this video. So I think we're definitely going to do this down the line. I'll probably just post it like 1 to 3 times, and then put the video up once I get enough questions accumulated. So if you weren't a part of this Q&A, definitely look for me in the future doing this again on my social media, because I would love to do this again with you guys. So definitely check me out on my social media so you can be a part of the next Q&A. But without further ado, let's get to your questions. Alright, so I currently have them as a list on my phone right now, and question 1 that I have is, what is the biggest reptile that I currently own? And I would probably have to say, ironically enough, and that just kind of just changed, I would say, it was at first Johnny, my red-tailed green rat snake, and he's about probably, I would say, a good 4 feet. But now I think that Eddie is taking over that spot as my biggest, longest reptile, I should say. And I think Eddie is definitely now pushing over 4 feet long. Eddie is definitely over 3.5, 4 feet just by a smidge, but I mean, after every feeding and after every shed that he's been going through, I mean, he's been growing, so he's no longer a smaller Burmese python, that's for sure. So really cool to see him growing, and they're just going to grow really lengthy, and then he's going to start bulking up, and he's definitely putting on a bunch of weight too. Every time I pick him up, I can't believe the amount of weight he's gained in just a short amount of time. And question 2, what's an underrated reptile in your opinion you wish people knew more about? And this is kind of an interesting one, honestly. So in my opinion, obviously we all know that the big craze is ball pythons right here. I myself included are very much on this boat myself. I love my ball pythons. I would say that the Woma python is something that is gaining in popularity, and I'm so happy to be seeing that over the past few years, that these guys are getting some huge recognition in the reptile world. It seems that before, not many people were working with these guys or anything like that, but it seems like their popularity is growing into a pace that people are like really appreciating these guys. And what I mean by that is there's some really cool lineage out there. You can get some genetics where the animal is completely without pattern for the most part, and it's just this tan looking animal, and it looks completely different than what you would notice from a normal Woma python, which looks amazing. And you can get them with the striping and the banding that they have already, and darker or lighter like I have with Wendy and Daisy. Or, I mean, you can get some really, really dark animals now, and some even look like a reverse blackhead, believe it or not. And it's just incredible what people have been able to do, and it's not many people that have been working with them, that's for sure. So everyone's just been building on their lineages and stuff like that, and now people are really catching on to them and stuff like that, and really getting turned on to them. So I've definitely noticed a hard time in catching a male and stuff like that in these past few years, because people have been jumping on these guys super, super quick. So that's what I mean. This coming year, I am really trying to get onto my male and really get a really cool male for these 2 females right here, because I really want to be working with some really fun projects with Woma pythons, because I think they're underrated, and I love to bring these guys into the spotlight more than they are already. Question 3, what did you want to be growing up? And I would say growing up, it was a huge toss-up. I mean, everyone obviously wanted to be a vet. I would say more so I was leaning towards maybe like the zookeeper route of things and stuff like that, for sure. And in a sense, I kind of am. You know, I'm still living out that pursuit and stuff like that, but I don't know. I mean, there was a mix of different things growing up that I'd want to be. Like in terms of like the animal side of things, like I wanted to be like a huge melting pot of different things and stuff like that. And I always have. There's always more that I want to do, and I always have that curiosity aspect of things. So I would say I started with wanting to be more so a zookeeper. I kind of had the vet thing going, but like I knew kind of early on it's not something I really want to do, but zookeeper definitely seemed like something that I would more so want to pursue. But then it kind of changed into stuff that was more so as I grew up and more aware of things and everything like that, and realized in the field that I wanted to do stuff with like documentaries and film work, and which is also a complete 360 from just animal work and stuff like that itself. It's not as hands-on with those kind of things, but I love film and everything like that, so just growing up and watching different movies and stuff like that and learning the history of movies and seeing the behind the scenes stuff, I was always one that loved to see the behind the scenes stuff. That's kind of what I wanted to do too, was just kind of work into the production side of things. And then it kind of transpired where I'm like, well, it's kind of hard to do both, you know? I mean, you can't be a zookeeper and work into the film industry and stuff like that too. So it's kind of difficult when you get to those things. And documentary work came up, and photography work, videography work, and there's a lot of different things you can be doing in these kind of niche fields. Kind of am evolving into what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to just be a reptile breeder. I'm not just trying to be a documentary filmmaker. I'm not trying to do any of those things. I'm just trying to blend things together, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And I think it's been working well so far. I mean, definitely pushing more onto the zookeeper kind of side of things and keeping reptiles, I would say, and working with the YouTube side of things. I mean, this has been great, but yeah, definitely down the line, I definitely want to work on some more projects and hone into some things of my own that I've been working on, stuff like that behind the scenes to bring to light in terms of my film work and stuff like that. I would love to do more with that, so that should be coming up soon. I would love to be pursuing that as time goes on. I hope that all makes sense, by the way. I know it's just a huge ramble of different things, but that's kind of how it all transpired at the end of the day. And next question, what is my dream reptile? And I would say, man, this is a tough one. There are definitely, depending on what we're talking about in terms of category, like snake, turtle, tortoise, lizard species, there's definitely different ones that take the cake. So I'll kind of go down those three categories of animals. So let's start with probably tortoise. I would definitely love one day an Aldabra tortoise. I absolutely just love those guys. They're so cute. As you grow them up and everything like that, they're huge animals, big commitments as well too, but definitely something I could take on once I have the space and everything like that. I would just love to have one or two Aldabras. I think they're just so cute and just very personable, such sweet personalities and everything like that too. I love them. So I would say that would be a dream species of mine overall. I think that would probably be the top animal, most rewarding, that I would keep. And that's just an animal throughout my whole life I could have and create a really strong bond with and be real personal with, and I would love that. I think that would be just incredible. That would probably be my top one as I'm explaining that more. As a lizard, I would say probably the spiny tail iguana, but specifically I would love the Pipectinata. I just love those guys. Probably a mix of white and black. Those guys are really cool. They've always caught my attention. I almost got a couple of them years ago, and thankfully I didn't, because this room would probably look completely different where I would just have this huge walk-in enclosure for those guys, and rather than what I have right now. So definitely something that down the line I would love to have, but right now it just isn't in the cards. But yeah, in terms of a dream species of snake, I would say right now the first thing that pops in my head would be a blackhead python. I mean, I love the Australian species. I love Woma pythons, like I said, so blackhead pythons would definitely be something that I would love to eventually breed, but just to have one in my collection just to keep and have as like just an ambassador animal and just to be a pet for me, that would be rewarding enough. But yeah, I would say those would be my three top overall dream reptile species down. And then on a similar note, what is a dream pet of yours that isn't a reptile? So this is a very easy one. Ever since growing up, I would love an Alaskan Malamute. So one of those nice big northern breeds compared to a husky. I mean, these guys get to be probably 80 to 110 pounds easily, and sometimes even more. But I mean, they are just gorgeous dogs. I always admired and loved those dogs. I used to work at pet stores, and anytime that one came in as a puppy or as an adult, I mean, I could identify it right off the bat, and I ran right up to it. And just absolutely am just entranced with those dogs. I think they're just so incredible. Definitely a lot of work and definitely a big commitment, like a lot of things, but it's been something that I've been researching probably now for like 10 plus years, and I would actually love to keep one. Ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted one, so that would be the dream animal that I would love to own down the line, and hopefully someday I will. Alright, next question on the list is, don't you need a bearded dragon? And the answer to that is, I would love a bearded dragon, but the problem with a bearded dragon is I think the humidity levels that I have throughout my whole place would just be so miserable for that animal that I just don't think it would thrive in this environment. But down the line, I would definitely love a bearded dragon. I think they're super cool. They're very cool personal animals, and I mean, there's a reason that they're so popular in the pet trade, and I would love to have one. Specifically a really cool morph of some sort. I think like the red ones are really cool. The zeros are really cool as well too. Those really white ones, pearly white ones, I think those are incredible too. I mean, there's so many different combinations out there, but yeah, I mean, I would love a bearded dragon, but just not right now. I know you work with mainly pythons, but what is your favorite colubrid species? So though I work with mainly pythons, I still own a red-tailed green rat snake, so that is basically the only colubrid that I personally own. I would love to own more. I know I used to have a pair of them, but unfortunately the female passed, and I haven't found a really good reliable source for a female, and I would love to get a captive one. If anyone has or knows any sources for captive ones, definitely reach out to me. At this point, I'm just kind of hoping that the right opportunity passes my way and I find one, and I will be happy to raise it up and everything like that, but I'm not really like pursuing this project as like something that I need to do and stuff like that as much as I wanted to in the past. And I'm just waiting for the right opportunity to arise, because it sucks when you constantly lose these animals, because for one, they were all wild caught. It's just a long process with doing those kind of things. I'm not a fan of taking things out of the wild for one, and just medicating them, quarantining them and stuff like that. It's a huge risk factor taking those things on, and normally it doesn't work out, unfortunately. Johnny is a huge success story, I would say, but yeah, I would love to get a captive female, so definitely something that I would love to do down the line. Those guys are really cool as a colubrid species, but I would say top colubrid species as a whole that I like are garter snakes. I think garter snakes are the thing that really sparked my interest for reptiles and stuff like that, and reptile keeping. I'd say garter snakes definitely hold a really strong place in my heart, and I used to keep them growing up, and I would love to keep some soon. I think doing something with like a bioactive setup or anything like that would be really cool for them, so maybe down the line we will keep them, but yeah, I would say garter snakes are definitely one of my favorite colubrid species. And this question just says bioactive setups. So yes, bioactive setups. I do love bioactive setups. I do have a couple naturalistic setups. I have a couple bioactive setups that aren't all in use. The only one that I have is in use is my 29-gallon vivarium, and that is holding Dumpling, the red-eyed tree frog, right now. And boy, I need to trim that tank down a little bit. It's definitely being a little bit overgrown again, but it looks great and it works great and it operates great, and it's operated great for the past, I would say, I don't know, 4 years that it's been running. And that tank was basically made out of scrap from the paludarium that I built. So bioactive setups are really cool for animals that you can basically do them with. But yeah, I would say I'm definitely going to in the future do some bioactive setups and show you guys from scratch how to set them up, because they are really fun to one, set up, use some creativity as well too, because you're just creating living art at the end of the day, and it's really fun to set something up like that. And your animals love it too, you know? I mean, they love to interact with that kind of environment. Make sure that it's a suitable setup for those kind of animals. And yeah, I definitely would love to do some more bioactive setups in the future, and we will do some how to set up bioactive setups in the future as well too. So we'll definitely do those. Stick around for that. Any update with the podcast? Yes, put to scale. Yes, we are definitely going to be moving forward with that. That is not a scrapped idea whatsoever. It just was not working out in the way that I wanted it to, and the consistency factor of everything. I mean, I want to get into a groove of working on that, so it's at least once a month. So definitely down the line, I'm going to be starting that back up. Not sure exactly a date yet, but it is not a scrap plan whatsoever. That'll definitely be something that'll be worked on in the future, not just for the reptile world, but the whole animal world. I want to be bringing in a whole bunch of different people on and just telling their stories and listening to them and gaining some inspiration, new ideas, and some new connections and friendships as well too. I would just love to be doing that podcast, and I think that's definitely a gateway to doing a bunch of different things, is working on that podcast and doing it well. So definitely going to be doing that down the line. Alright, so this question asks, what is my favorite type of frog? And this one's an easy one, and ironically enough, this actually started my friendship with Mike way back in the day. Was we had conversations about the Amazon leaf frog as well as the splendid tree frog as well too. Both incredible species of frog, and they are just really cool. They have some really big
big hands and they're just really big frogs in general, I would say. So really cool, neat animals that I would love to keep and work with down the line for sure. Not sure if it's something I would want to work with yet, but definitely down the line I would love to keep and raise some of those guys up because I think they're just super cool to keep. Frogs in general are just something that I really enjoy, and I think they're really neat, and they would be great for bioactive setups as well too. And I would love to be setting up a whole wall just full of those guys because, like I said, it's just living art, and I would love to just be looking at that wall and seeing all of them and hearing their calls and everything like that. It would just be really cool to have a piece of the rainforest right in my bedroom or something like that. So definitely down the line I would love to do that. I'm going to work with Mike on doing something like that, and we're going to work on a whole wall down the line of some species and get a whole bunch of cool things going there. But yeah, those definitely will be some frogs I would love to keep in the future, and those would definitely be my favorite type of frog. All right, and we're down to the final 2 questions here. So the next question is, do I just breed ball pythons? So as of right now, yes, I do just breed ball pythons. That's all I have in terms of raised up males and females, but that is not all that I would love to necessarily keep and breed. Down the line I would love to, like I said, work with the Woma pythons. We're just waiting on a male. The females are all ready to go. Wendy just needs to put a little bit more size on her and she's all set. But yeah, I would love to be doing stuff with the Woma pythons. And down the line I would love to be working with some other species too. But I'm trying to keep my species that I work with very small in terms of breeding and stuff like that, because I don't want to just be breeding a whole bulk of everything. I really want to be singling out and working with certain species and really putting my absolute attention to those. So yeah, as we go on, I mean, my stuff may progress and everything like that, but that is definitely what I want to do, is kind of keep focused breedings on certain species. But yeah, as of right now, just the ball pythons are going, and we should be having eggs actually anytime now. So stick around and I'll let you know about those. All right, and actually the final question is, when are you finishing your tattoo sleeve? So the sleeve is almost done. So as you can see, we have a little bit of skin just kind of peeking through in certain parts right here, but the sleeve is almost done. And what the plan is, me and my buddy Bob, who's doing my tattoos, Bob Tyrell, definitely check him out. He's a master of black and gray, that's for sure. But we are definitely trying to finish it in the summer, so probably I would say middle of July I would probably keep myself open to doing it, and I want to just knock out like 3 sessions that we have for this and get the sleeve completely finished by the fall. So going to be definitely a lot of work, but I've put in so many hours already on the sleeve and I love it. And I wouldn't want it from anyone else. I think he's done fantastic work on this whole thing, and we've created such a friendship from it. I love what he does. He's super passionate. Not only does he do tattoo work, he also does music. He's a musician as well too, so he's always going on tour and doing things as well too. So that's kind of what I like to do too, is not just sit and do one thing. I want to aspire to be multiple different things and branch out and do a whole bunch of different things. So really cool stuff. But yeah, we will finish the sleeve probably in the summer. So that's my goal, and we're going to stick to that. So thank you guys so much for all your questions. I really appreciate them. I did not think I was going to get as many questions as I did. So genuinely, it means a world to me that you guys did ask me questions. Like I said, definitely stay tuned on my social media. I will be posting more question polls so you guys can ask more down the line, and we will do this again for sure. I think this was a bunch of fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. If you guys could do me a couple favors, like I said, check me out on my social media, NJP Exotics, as well as Nick Pulaski. You can find me there, and you can see all my different work from the reptile side of things, my photography side of things. Stay in tune with it all. There's a whole bunch of different things you guys can see that I've been working on both accounts. So definitely check me out there, and make sure, if you could, like this video and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it, as well as hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. And please, by all means, definitely leave something down in the comments. I love hearing from you guys down there as well too. I'm never ignoring my comment section at all. I love the community that I'm growing in here. We are just such a positive community, and I want that to continue to grow and flourish. So definitely keep leaving comments down low. I appreciate that as well. And until next time, I will see you guys soon.